Listen, we can tell you all day about the Cruise Club membership, the benefits, how much you can save, all of that, but ain't nothing like hearing it straight from the mouth of a member who's been there since the very beginning, has been on a bunch of cruises, and has already saved a ton of money on his travel and is able to treat his family to some fantastic vacations. And that is exactly what you're about to hear as I interview a member of the club, Eddie Torres, who's been there for about 8 years. So stay tuned in and let's get into it.
I believe we're at almost 11 cruises, and total savings is about $14,000 to $15,000 overall. With the membership, we're cruising a lot more than we would have. We went to Europe in last July. So we would have probably not taken the Europe trip if we would have had to pay the whole thing out of pocket, right? So we have the opportunity to travel longer and for less. We went to the Mediterranean, Santorini, Mykonos, and all that stuff. We had a butler, we had concierge. There's only 200 families on the boat that had access to this level of service. We were able to do that because of the savings.
And so here we have Eddie. Eddie's been a member for how long, Eddie?
Actually, since the inception. So there's been about 8 years now, actually.
8 years, yeah. InCruises member. And so I guess it's just a little background. How did you even find out about it? I mean, it was in the beginning. They wasn't big or anything. So how did you even come to know about the company?
Yeah, so we travel a lot. So obviously, I'm also, have an entrepreneurial spirit. So obviously looking for opportunities, and then saw a quick ad about this new travel club that started. And then when I reached out, it turned out to be Hutch, who's the owner of the company, CEO, owner, co-owner, and didn't realize, but he actually lives in Central Florida, where I live out. So we live in Orlando. Okay. And then we had the opportunity to actually meet and discuss the opportunity. I must have been one of the first, to even hear about it, because that's when he actually launched it.
Nice. So you actually had a conversation directly with the owner. Now, what I guess you saw was about cruising. Had you been an avid cruiser before? What was your cruise experience up to that point?
Oh yes, we cruise all the time. So as a child, I remember us going on a couple of the first Carnival cruises that came out. So cruising was a big deal, and travel was a big deal for our family. My dad worked a lot, so obviously he made it. It was very important for him to make sure that we did take vacations when he was not at work, and cruising was part of that. So we've done multiple cruises as a family, and obviously it was just a great addition to possibly add a membership that could save us some money on future cruises.
Nice. So now I suppose at that point they had their website up, and so when you learned exactly what the membership was about and things, I guess what about it really sparked your interest? I mean, I know they have of course InCruises has this affiliate partner aspect to it. Then of course they have the membership, which is what everything's built around. So which one of those, I guess, sparked your interest more? What lit you up about it?
I think obviously total savings is really what drove us to consider that, because we know if you save more, they could travel more, right? So the concept was, if it's true, right? Because of course we're skeptical. 8 years ago, there was not a lot of information from the company. I mean, really, we took his word for it, and we also looked at him as a person, so he gave me a little bit of his background. And what's unique is that we had the opportunity to meet him. I met him actually at Costco's, just because he also was going to be there that day. And he also wanted to share that the concept of membership is, a viable option for people. And Costco is a good indication of a company that has built their business around a membership model. So it's pretty cool to sit in Costco with Hutch and telling us, that the concept kind of got derived from membership, and as an example, Costco. So that was pretty cool. But ultimately, it was the savings. I think the savings gives us the opportunity to make sure that we could cruise more. We could prepare for it because we're putting money into our membership that's going to be utilized for the future. There is no excuse for us to spend that money because it's actually being put away. Just like preparing for retirement, you put away money looking at the future value of that. So we looked at this not as an investment. Obviously, it's not an investment, but the membership gave us an opportunity to put money away today that we can use tomorrow for travel.
Nice, right? And so over the period of years, right? Over the time if you've been a member, about how many cruises have you been on, and what do you estimate your approximate, savings have
Yes.
been over the time?
Yeah. So I will say I looked it up the other day because we were having a conversation, my wife and I, and I think we just hit, I think it was 13 cruises with InCruises, 13 or 14, I believe. This year we actually have several booked, so I'm not sure if I'm counting those numbers. Obviously, we had a small little gap that we couldn't cruise because of COVID, but during that time frame, we're still accumulating points. But I believe we're at almost 11 cruises, and total savings is about $14,000 to $15,000 overall.
Wow, nice. And so I know that they have a membership free incentive, right? Had you gone membership free, like how long, had you gone membership free?
Yes, I have actually. What's unique about it is that obviously the program's called Strive for Five. You become a partner with the company, and all you need is 5 customers. Once you get those 5 customers, then of course your membership is no longer cost you anything. So that's where you get membership free. So I had the opportunity to then try to share with family and friends, and everyone's skeptical. Brand new companies, very everyone is extremely skeptical. But I had the opportunity to have one gentleman that trusted me from Switzerland, and he's still one of my partners. And that was 8 years ago. So he was my first one. I was like, man, if I could get one, I could definitely get 4, right? So I've been fortunate enough. So the last 8 years, I've been membership free for about six to 6.5 years of that. So we did it early, came out the gate, and COVID had some people scared, and the majority of our partners and customers actually stayed on board because the value was still accumulating while we were in a stop. But we had the opportunity to maintain our membership. We still are membership free, and like I said, a combined is about 6 to 6.5 years now.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting what you said about COVID because I guess InCruises membership model is a situation where it's not like you're paying to access something every month, and if you don't access that thing, then you're not getting your money's worth. It's not like that. It's you're accumulating value every month. So whenever you do get a chance to use it, it's still there, and it's like you're not losing anything. So I suppose if you really think about what the membership was, it really wasn't, I guess, a reason to really like leave during COVID. Like, would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you think about it, it still accumulates, right? So there's future value that's protected with, the company has a protection system. We could talk about that later on. But it truly is there ready for you when you're ready to travel. A perfect example is that we came on board, and we waited almost 2 years to get the big trip. So we wanted to accumulate enough points and enough value so that it actually could give us a much larger vacation. So waiting a year or two was normal for us. We're patient. We know it's available. There's ways that our money is protected. So we had the opportunity to wait almost 2 years to use it, and we created a dream trip out of it. It was the first time we went to Europe, and we had a great opportunity, and that's when we tested it really for the first time in a large scale. So it was amazing.
Nice, nice. So these days, when you've been a member for a while, when you're booking a cruise through InCruises, I guess you have a choice now of whether you even want to pay anything out of pocket, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk a little about that? Because I think normally, if a person books a cruise on a cruise line, they have a deposit, and then they have to pay the rest over a period of time. And then InCruises, there's this I guess loyalty sort of program where I guess after the 2-year mark, you have a choice of whether you even want to pay out of pocket. So like, how is that, how's that been for you? Like, is that a weight lifted? Like, and just talk about how that works.
Right. So obviously, the company didn't have to do this option, right? So for being loyal customers, after 2 years, you have the opportunity to, instead of paying 50% of your booking with cash or a credit card, not cash, but a credit card, you have the opportunity to convert some of your 2-for-1 points that you've accumulated over that time to 1-for-1, meaning that you lose the doubling, but you don't have to have, another credit card or put it on a charge card to pay the balance. So a perfect example is that realistically, when you're booking a cruise after 2 years, you just have to maintain about 1.5 times the cruise price to be able to use that feature. So I'll give you an example. So a $2,000 cruise requires what? $3,000, right? Mm-hmm. So 3,000 points would then revert to paying half of your cruise and then converting the 2-for-1 back to 1-for-1. So there is no out of pocket.
Nice. And so have you used that yourself with the conversion thing?
I have. And one of the main reasons, obviously we enjoy the 2-for-1 and reverting back to 1-for-1 loses, future opportunity. But I also have a membership for my wife, and then we accumulate, almost $400 a month. And believe it or not, even though we're avid cruisers, I mean, last year, I think we did 6 cruises last year. We're accumulating at a rate that, why not, right? Why come out of pocket when I could convert some of those 2-for-1s, especially with a free membership, right? So you look at it as, I'm not paying for that. So if I convert it to a 1-for-1 and don't come out of pocket, then it's also a win-win for us. So we've had the opportunity to use that as an option. Some cruises, we just look at the benefit for that or look at future cruises, and we just decide on a case-by-case basis. But one thing that I want to share, it's really important because a lot of people think that this concept is different than other things out there, right? So I always try to describe it as rewards points for a credit card, right? Mm-hmm. You swipe your credit card on a monthly basis and you get rewards points that you could utilize for travel, airline, whatever you want. So it's nothing new. The industry is there. Rewards points is something that we all know exists. There's a lot of loyalty programs. So the reality is, works the same way, right? You swipe your credit card, eventually you could use your points in the future. Chase doesn't grab those points back. There's no expiration date. There's no, thing. It's not a scam that they're using points. How dare they give you points, and how could they make that happen? Well, this is an identical feature. But one key factor that InCruises does is that the average family does not have to go out and put it all on a credit card, right? You pay 18, 29%, 30% on a credit card when you come back. So you saved all this money, put it on a credit card, and then you come back and it takes about 1.5 years to pay it off. What if the membership gives you the opportunity, money's protected, gives you an opportunity to prepare and plan for that cruise. And then when that time comes, you don't have any debt. Pretty good concept.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you went on 6 cruises, you said last year?
Yes.
Okay. So is that normally how much you typically cruise? And do you think you would have cruised that much without the membership?
Definitely with the membership, we're cruising a lot more than we would have, right? Because the savings is there. The way I look at our savings is that, I'll give you an example. We went to Europe in last July, and the savings gave us the opportunity for our tickets, hotels, Airbnbs, and things like that. So it provided an additional value to us. So we would have probably not taken the Europe trip if we would have had to pay the whole thing out of pocket, right? So the fact is that we have the savings on the cruise portion and hotel portion. We have the opportunity to travel longer and for less.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so does it feel different when you're on these vacations, knowing that, you paid very little, if anything, for the cruise, or you save so much money that you're able to, get a nice hotel without worrying? Like, how does that feel? Like, just knowing that, you're saving a lot of money on these vacations.
Yes. So we used to do, interior cabins, now with the savings, we get an opportunity to go into a balcony stateroom. With the savings, we could go to the yacht club. So sometimes it's to enhance the experience. So it's not necessarily about money, right? It's about, wow, this cost me this amount, but now I could get a higher level of service, right? So I'll give you an example. 2018, when we did our Europe trip, we went to the Mediterranean, Santorini, Mykonos, and all that stuff. We actually joined, that cruise line had a tier that was similar to what the yacht club is in MSC. And we had a butler, we had concierge. There's only 200 families on the boat that had access to this level of service. So the beautiful thing was that we were able to do that because of the savings. and we would have never had that opportunity.
Nice. Yeah. So, and for those listening, there's I would put it where there's probably three ways you could use the membership benefits, right? You could cruise often, you could save money, cruise more often, save money on the cruises that you do take, or upgrade your experience with the savings that you have. And so a lot of times you'll choose to upgrade your experience. Others might choose to or both, right? I mean, you can
Right.
cruise more often and upgrade your
Absolutely.
your cabin, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, you're also in the affiliate side of it, right? You're on
Yes.
the partner side as well. And so I know, me and my wife, we both have a membership as well. We've got a
Yes.
ton of points, so we're gonna use pretty soon. But
Yes.
um, what has been the reception to the information when you share in cruises with folks?
Yeah. I will say, we haven't focused a ton on building the business side of it, right? We focused on building a small team, getting a free membership, and then I continue to market and I continue, but I don't lose sleep over it, right? So I'm kind of a serial consumer, right? Where I'm using the product at its maximum benefit, right? So I'm not necessarily worried about creating an additional income, which is great. It's available for people that want to do that. I just want to enhance our travel experiences. I also want to continue to share the story, of InCruises and things like that. I will say what's unique about the US market is that there's a lot of skepticism about home-based businesses, direct sales and things like that. And it is challenging. I think other countries are a little bit more open to that concept. What's interesting is that we are used to the gig economy, right? People are driving Ubers, people have Airbnb, they're affiliates for those companies. They're selling those products. They don't get the slight eye of, wow, how dare you do that, right? And there are people that are championing, oh, good job, good job. In our industry, it's unique because for some reason, the stigma of direct sales, network marketing, or general could potentially give people the lack of vision of what it truly is and just want to label it something that it isn't. And then sometimes they're not just open to the discussion. So I don't worry about that because the skeptics could be skeptics while I travel on the beaches of the world, and that's all I care. So they could continue to say that. I actually have friends that have known we've been in this business for going on over 8 years, and they're not interested, and that's fine. And no matter how many times I come back from a trip or how many trips I take, they still have that skeptic thing. But guess what? While they're in their couch, I'm traveling the world.
Right. Nice. Yeah, it's interesting because
Yeah. I will say on that note, right? So what's interesting is that how many businesses could you build at such a low cost, and actually with 5 customers have no more cost? So when you think about that in its simplest form, people could just come on board, get 5 customers, and just travel like we are, and still have an excellent added value to their life, and not worry about chasing so many people. Just create a small team. I call it hack the home-based business, meaning that if you find an opportunity to basically find a company, you need a few customers, and benefit from that, and have a group of even 5 cruisers, people that you love that want to cruise with you. Why not, right? And it's pretty simple, but sometimes it's a little hard because of the skepticism.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of folks will join simply because of the membership free incentive, and they'll go, like, we have someone that went membership free and she's good to go, right? She's 100% satisfied. That's what she came here for, and it's
Yes.
done. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
Absolutely. Are there times where you use where you won't use InCruises to book, and if so, why?
Okay. A perfect example. We're doing a cruise this month, right? So we're doing a small little Carnival 3-day cruise. We live here in Central Florida, so our cruise port's literally 45 minutes away. So the cost on that cruise is nominal, and we already have a Hawaii cruise booked, and then we also have another cruise booked in May for the end of May with Norwegian. So we can't use our membership because we have pending bookings, but I still travel, so we booked it because of the cost. It wasn't too expensive, and why burn points on such a small trip? So we've done that before several times.
Got you. So yeah, so for those watching, there is I think it's a max of about four cruises a year, that you can take through InCruises, one per quarter or every 3 months, with the InCruises membership. And so, that would be, the reason that you're talking about, Eddie, where, can't, you already have a cruise booking, so you can't put another one on the books with InCruises, so you have to book elsewhere.
Correct, correct. And the other thing for that too is, the four per year is a lot for the average person, right?
Oh yeah.
But the other thing is that if you did that, you wouldn't also accumulate the points, at a higher level, right? Because you're constantly burning through, 600 points. I mean, 1,200 points, right? So if you want to do that large cruise, maybe that big cruise once a year, and you want to accumulate, that $2,400 on an annualized basis, that gives you a larger impact. You could do, a $5,000 cruise with, 2,400 points, let's say, right? And that's the value that you want. Then of course, wait. But if you're looking to try your membership, I tell people, listen, the best way to realize if this works is try to get a membership. Try to book within the first 90 days, use the membership, try it, see if it's something for you, and then plan a larger trip in the future. Because the best social proof is you being on that cruise, going through the booking engine, actually going to the trip and coming back, and actually feeling the membership and understanding its ability to provide value for your family.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I think, one thing, we could, also address is that, maybe someone may be skeptical, maybe they don't trust, their money sitting in the system or whatnot. You feel perfectly safe. I feel perfectly safe. Can you kind of, explain, I guess what, gives you that peace of mind knowing that, you're not going to lose the money, or if anything happens, you can get your money back. Like how, what protections have been put in place to make you feel at ease?
Okay. I think the first thing is the corporate team. I mean, if you know them as if their background, who they are as people, that's the first sense of being comfortable, right? You just got to go onto the website. You can look at the due diligence component. It talks a little bit about Hutch and the management team and things like that. So first of all, management has a large impact on the success and failure of the company. So right there, I would say that that's extremely important. The other thing that's important is, do you believe, Disney Cruise Lines, Virgin Voyages, Norwegian, all the cruise companies that we have, Carnival, actually would be working with and dealing with a company that is not financially capable of providing the service, and also that is a scam, right? So I think that's another thing, right? So you got to realize that if Disney vetted InCruises to allow them to be a booking partner, right? That's important. The other thing, what kind of certifications does the company have? They got licenses, the seller of travel. They belong to the, Cruise Lines International Association, which is a vetting process for companies that book cruises and things like that. So if you look at that, the licenses, the ability to maintain their infrastructure cost low and things like that, I think it's really important to realize that even through COVID, this company could have went south, and they've done some amazing things, that they do as a company to make sure that they minimize costs. They don't have, a lot of infrastructure. They don't have a big, building in downtown Miami that's costing them a lot of money. I think they run the company lean. They try to make sure that there's some safety nets there. Of course, they offer something that's called Trust My Travel, which protects each payment that you make in case, InCruises defaults. They do have a 14-day money back guarantee, no questions asked if you decide that it's not for you. So there's a lot of things. If you cancel your account, the money's still readily available for you to use in the future. You never lose your points. So I think they put a lot of protections that are consumer protections that should make you feel extremely comfortable. But obviously me saying it and things like that, it doesn't resonate as much as you actually going out there and telling your people and our customers to go do your own due diligence, right? And then I would say that, You're also going to get the naysayers. You're going to say people that are saying bad things. But listen, if you Google your employer, is everyone happy in your job, right? If you Google America, if you Google, at the end of the day, you're going to find people with different perceptions of their success or failures within the company. And then some of those things are actually self-imposed. And the reason why I say, if you don't understand how to utilize the membership, if you don't read, and I say fine print, it's not really fine print. It's just, you got to understand that you need to work within the confines of the rules. So understanding the membership, how to use it, when to use it, getting all your questions answered and utilizing it to the capacity that has been built for, perfect, right? So I think you then minimize your skepticism, your frustration, and things like that, right? And sometimes this product is not necessarily for everyone, and that's okay too, right? So if you're not into online booking, some people want a travel agent, and they want that one-to-one conversation, and they want people to talk to about their cabin and this and that. Well, this is not for them, right? So there are some things that the booking portal requires you to be educated and understand how to manage your booking, but it's as easy as booking a hotel room when you think about it.
Right. And you talked about earlier about, the first thing you mentioned with, feeling like you're in good hands was, the founders, right? The owners. Let's talk a little bit about that, because, when me and my wife first discovered InCruises, we were blown away with the amount of transparency that they showed. I mean, we weren't even members yet. We were just doing our due diligence, right? Doing our research, and all of the information we wanted on them was basically on their own website. We didn't have to go anywhere else. Because they were just so forthcoming with their with the information, their backgrounds and where they came from, and even Hutch talked about some of the how InCruises started, where he was trying different ventures or deals, and how they didn't go through, and he didn't have to share that information, but he absolutely did. Yeah. So, and you've met Hutch personally, so I guess, talk just a bit about, the type of guy Hutch is and how you feel.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing that Hutch, I would say he's a man of heart, right? He actually, his heart's in the right place. He wants to do good for the customer, the consumer, but he's got a business to run, and he's got to make sure he makes business decisions. And sometimes making business decisions aren't necessarily, something that we're happy with. So we just got to realize that they make those decisions to make the company viable,
Right. There's also on the business side, there's also a way to be able to use your points sooner than the 2-year mark. I don't know if you want to talk about that or let people know about that.
Yeah. So when someone becomes a marketing director, they have access to 100% of their booking points. So that is also available there. If they create a larger team, then of course they'll have access to those points. So the leaders have access to more points based on the production volume that they've created for the company.
Yeah. So for anyone who is looking at this from a business perspective, not only is the membership free incentive there for you to save, even more money in the cruises, but also if you wanted to, build a decent sized team, there is absolutely a way for you to absolutely use 100% of your points in as little as 3 months. If you were to do it right out the break, right out the gate, you can do it in as little as 3 months. So, but yeah. All good stuff to know. Thank you, Eddie, for
right.
Jumping on this sort of, I guess, podcast, is Members Corner with us.
Yes.
And for anyone watching, we will drop InCruises links. I'll have Eddie's link below. I'll have our link below, and so you can go and check out some more information there. We'll have more people on in the future as well, and so we'll just see you guys in the next video.